How y'all are? It's your native Flor-xan, and today I got a little something different. And so I got some eggs that we've had in the fridge a little over a week. Decided hey, I'm gonna boil them up and make me some egg salad to take for lunch. And so I got to thinking, maybe people haven't seen the method that I use in boiling eggs, and so I wanted to share that with you. So let's get into it. So what I got here, folks, is just a normal electric kettle here. And so, like I said, I got some eggs here. They've been in the fridge a little over a week. You don't want to really boil fresh eggs. You want them to be a little older, because as they age, they tend to release that membrane from the shell, and it makes them a lot easier to peel. But I got 9 eggs here. We're going to put them in this kettle, and then I'm going to fill it up to the max line with water. Alright, so we're filled up to the max line. Just going to shut the lid, set it on the deal, turn it on, and then what we're going to do is let this come to a boil. Once it comes to a rolling boil, we'll let it set for a minute, and then we're going to shut it off and let it set. Alright folks, so we're boiling. We're going to let that go for about a minute, and then we're going to turn it off. Alright, so we shut it off. We're just going to take it off of there. And now I'm looking for a hard-boiled egg. So I'm going to set my timer on the stove for 20 minutes. Now if I was wanting to do a soft-boiled egg, I might only let them set for maybe 15, 17 minutes, something like that. But we're going to let this set for 20 minutes. Come back, dump the water out, put some cold water in it, and then see how they peel. Alright folks, so the timer just went off. I'm going to dump this water out. Alright, so I dumped the hot water out, put some cold water in there. The idea here is when you boil the older eggs, that membrane releases from your egg white a lot easier. Makes them easier to peel. I know there's a lot of different things. People take the top, bottom, blow on it, all that kind of stuff. I've never had any success with that. So I'm gonna say that one peeled pretty good. So let's just cut this one in half. I clean this counter off. So you can see it's cooked all the way. If you did a soft boil, you'd still have a little bit of runniness in the center, but the main thing is the egg's not green. You got a green egg, it's overcooked. So I'm going to keep going on peeling on these, and then while I got you, might as well show you how I make an egg salad. Since I'm down to the last 2 eggs, I figured I'd share with you. So this method of doing this, I actually learned by watching Alton Brown. I believe he did it on his show Good Eats years ago, which I'm a big fan of Alton Brown and that show, and that's where I learned how to do this. But if you got a kettle and you want to try it, a couple of things. The first couple of times I tried this in this kettle, for the length of time that he suggested, they come out not as done as I wanted. And so just playing with it, I figured out that 20 minutes was a good time. You may play around with yours, maybe go a little less than that, or you might have to go a little more. But for this Mr. Coffee kettle here, 20 minutes seems to work very well. Alright, so getting into the egg salad, I got 8 eggs. That one I cut in half. I don't know what happened to that. But what we used, if you got one of them egg slicers, that probably works fine. I remember my mama having one when I was younger. But we got this avocado knife that you can tell is well used, and we just take our eggs and just kind of push them through that. We use this to slice them like if we're making a chef's salad or something like that. But all I want to do is just kind of slice them, and then I'm going to break them up a little smaller. But if you got one of these, it works real good on slicing up eggs. And being that we're making egg salad, they ain't got to be perfect. So I'm gonna keep going on this, and then we'll get to chopping the rest of this up and adding the rest of our ingredients to make our egg salad. All right, so now I'm just gonna take that knife and just kind of rough chop through them eggs. All right, so we got that chopped up. I got some Duke's mayonnaise. We're gonna put about a half a cup, I think, for as many eggs as we got here. Again, this is 8 eggs. And then I got some dill pickle relish. I like adding a little bit of that in here. I'm gonna do probably, that's about a tablespoon. And then I got some diced jalapenos. I'm not gonna go as heavy with that. I just want to add a little bit of that in there just for flavor. And I got some of my daddle pepper seasoning, which is kind of like my house seasoning, but it's got some daddle pepper powder in it. Then we're going to just take a fork and mix that in, and if it's to the consistency we like, fine. If not, we'll add a little more mayo or whatever it is that we feel that we need. And I didn't chop that egg up real fine because I don't mind the bigger pieces of egg, but if you want them real fine, then get after it. All right, folks, got it all mixed up. There we have it. I think we're going to get some bread and make us a sandwich. So I got just some regular honey wheat bread in here that I'm going to toast up real quick and make us a sandwich. Alrighty, so we got our toast. Take some of this fresh egg salad. So you can make this however you want. Sometimes I'll put Cajun seasoning in it or add different things. I got a buddy, he'll put fresh dill, he'll chop it up and put it in there. I'm not getting that fancy with it, but let's give this one a try. All right, so here we go. That's good. All right, so that's really good. Just that little bit of jalapeno and that dill relish that we added to it. And then of course, you know, the Duke's mayonnaise and the daddle pepper seasoning that we added, which is basically my house seasoning with just a little bit of daddle pepper powder, but that works out good. That's gonna make me a couple of good lunches. And hopefully you try this method of cooking them if you're one of them people that struggle with cooking your eggs. And so again, I started doing this method because it makes it a lot easier, at least for me, because you never know. People tell you, oh, you got to boil them for this long and boil them for that long and then shock them here and cool them there. And it's just easier for me. You let it boil in the pot, turn it off, let it set. It makes good quality eggs. I'm going to keep going on this. Thanks to all y'all that subscribed. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.